Have you ever stopped to ask yourself what the real purpose of sex education actually is, and why so many people misunderstand it, avoid it, or reduce it to something far smaller than it truly is? Because the truth is, sex education is not simply about explaining physical intimacy, and it is not about encouraging behavior. It is about awareness, protection, emotional intelligence, responsibility, and long-term well-being. And if we fail to understand that, we risk leaving an entire generation to learn about one of the most powerful forces in human life from misinformation, social media, peer pressure, and unrealistic entertainment. The real purpose of sex education begins with understanding the human body. Because when young people enter puberty and experience hormonal changes, emotional intensity, physical development, and new feelings of attraction, confusion often replaces confidence if no one explains what is happening. And without guidance, natural biological changes can feel frightening or shameful. But when education is introduced properly, those same changes become understandable, manageable, and healthy. And that foundation alone can prevent years of insecurity and silent anxiety. However, the true purpose goes far beyond biology, because physical relationships are never purely physical. They involve trust, vulnerability, attachment, expectations, and sometimes heartbreak. And if someone is taught only about anatomy, but never about emotional consequences, they are not truly educated. They are only partially informed. Real sex education teaches the meaning of consent in its clearest and strongest form. It teaches that no always means no, that silence is not yes, that pressure invalidates permission, and that respect is non-negotiable. It teaches that both individuals in any relationship deserve safety, dignity, and the right to make decisions without fear. And this understanding alone builds safer communities. One of the biggest misconceptions is that sex education encourages early activity, but research across multiple societies has consistently shown the opposite. When young people are educated honestly and comprehensively, they make more responsible choices. They delay risky behavior, and they are more likely to protect themselves when they do choose intimacy. Because knowledge does not create recklessness, ignorance does, and silence has never protected anyone from consequences. Another powerful purpose of sex education is teaching emotional health. Because attraction is not the same as love, attention is not the same as respect, and intensity is not the same as stability. Yet many young people confuse these experiences and attach deeply before they understand their own emotional boundaries. Education helps them recognize red flags such as manipulation, control, isolation, jealousy disguised as care, or emotional blackmail. And it empowers them to walk away from unhealthy relationships before long-term damage occurs. It also teaches self-worth, reinforcing that a person's value is not measured by their physical appeal or their relationship status, but by their character, choices, and integrity. And in a digital age where social media glamorizes unrealistic romance and exaggerated intimacy, this grounding becomes more critical than ever. Sex education also plays a crucial role in physical health by explaining reproductive systems, safe practices, prevention of sexually transmitted infections, hygiene, and the importance of medical checkups. But beyond the clinical facts, it removes shame from seeking help, because embarrassment should never stand between a person and their health. And when young people feel confident asking questions, visiting doctors, or discussing concerns openly, preventable problems decrease significantly. Another essential purpose is protection from abuse, teaching children and teenagers the difference between appropriate and inappropriate touch, empowering them to speak up if they feel uncomfortable, and reminding them that their body belongs to them. This knowledge can literally save lives. And it also teaches boys and young men that strength is not dominance. Masculinity is not aggression, and real maturity is demonstrated through respect and self-control. By framing sex education as a conversation about responsibility rather than rebellion, we shift the narrative from fear to empowerment, and we create adults who understand consequences before facing them. Healthy sex education also prepares individuals for future committed relationships and marriage by emphasizing communication, emotional compatibility, patience, and mutual understanding. Because long-lasting partnerships are not built on physical chemistry alone. They require trust, shared values, conflict resolution skills, and empathy. And when young people learn these principles early, they enter adulthood better prepared to build stable families and healthier societies. Ultimately, the real purpose of sex education is not about promoting activity, but about promoting awareness. Not about removing morality, but about strengthening responsibility. Not about encouraging experimentation, but about protecting mental, emotional, and physical well-being. It replaces myths with facts, shame with confidence, silence with dialogue, and confusion with clarity. And when delivered properly, it does not corrupt innocence, it protects it. It does not weaken values, it reinforces them. And it does not push young people toward risk, it equips them with the tools to avoid it. Because in the end, informed choices are safer choices, respected boundaries create stronger relationships, and educated individuals build healthier futures for themselves and for the world around them.